Today I'll be reviewing the HERMES CARAVAS bag in the size 35. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Elaine, and on my channel I like to talk about bags from mid-range to vintage luxury. And as you saw in the thumbnail and title, today I'll be reviewing this vintage CARAVAS bag. So I first heard of the CARAVAS on Jessie Styles' video. She talked about sort of like obscure Hermes bags, and I had never seen it before, and I was like, that's a cool looking bag, especially since you know I am very much into my shoulder bag era. This actually looks a lot like my Row East West India bag. So I got this one in Japan earlier this year. The CARAVAS, as you can tell, is right up my alley. So when I saw this on the Real, I basically snatched it up right away. I didn't even wait for those promotional periods because I was like, you know what? I've never really seen this bag and I'm not sure if I'll see it again. So I got it for, I mean, all in, it was like $3,400, $500 with tax and all that. It was kind of a lot, but I took a chance because one, the CARAVAS bag is so obscure. I just really didn't think there would be a ton of fakes out there. And then two, I did take a look at the stitching. The stitching looks great. And I also noticed that the stitching, which is interesting, is black. So I was like, do they make bags with black stitching, black contrast stitching? Because usually contrast stitching is white. So thank you to Sam from Bargain Hunting Blonde and Lindsay from Luxe Leather Revival. We had a little discussion about whether or not they thought this bag might be real or fake, and Sam did a little bit of digging as well, and she said for the most part black thread is only used for special orders. But I did also then do kind of a search into CARAVAS bags in general. They're kind of hard to find, but there's a couple that were on sale at other resale sites. Most of them were in the 41, I want to say, size, which has 2 outer pockets. This one only has 1. From what I saw, and then don't quote me on this, but it seems like the CARAVAS line was made with black stitching. So I think that is characteristic of this CARAVAS line, but there's very little information about this bag in general. So this is the CARAVAS size 35, which only has 1 pocket. It does have these long shoulder straps that easily fit over the shoulder. So very comfortable. This is in Etoupe Clemence leather, so it is a bit heavy. We're not going to the weight in a little bit. And the inside is lined with Swift, from what I gather. It feels like Swift. It doesn't feel like Milo lambskin. But the inside is black, which is also interesting. It's I think black stitching, black interior. I think that's a CARAVAS line thing. Inside there is 1 larger flat pocket and 2 smaller flat pockets, no feet. Of course, 1 exterior pocket that's a button, push button opening. Oops. And it's lined in the same Clemence leather, the Etoupe leather. And then there is a gap here as well where the pocket is attached. And then there is only 1 zipper. At first I didn't like love it. I thought it was heavy. And it still is heavy, but as I've been using it, it's actually been growing on me. First off, we could do a little size comparison. So I don't have anything in the 35 size. I used to have a Believe 35, and from what I read, the Believe 35 actually feels a little bit bulkier and bigger because it is a lot taller. So 35 of course means 35 centimeters across, but the height on this is much less. I'll put the dimensions up here, and the width. The nice thing about this is the width is very thin, so that makes carrying it a lot easier, especially because you're carrying it under the arm. That is a very nice, well-designed bag, as opposed to my Toolbox 26. So as you can see, the Toolbox 26 is a little bit shorter, but it makes for a much bulkier bag because of this, because of this width. So look at that size difference there. Height, I would say, is basically about the same. I mean, I guess if you really stand it up, the Toolbox is slightly taller, but it is shorter, but it's just too wide. And so that makes this a much more useful bag. Ask what fits. I don't think a computer will fit, so I did bring my computer for demonstration purposes. Yeah, so no. No. I mean, yes, in a pinch, you could totally do that and keep the corner out, but it's not ideal. So no, I would not use this as a computer bag per se, but in terms of comfort, it's not too bad because of the really thick shoulder straps here. Me, personally, I would not put a computer in here. And then so if I were to put my daily things, and so this is my So Kelly 22, so of course not as long, but I did notice that the bottoms of these are similar. So Kelly came out in 2008. I think this is a 2009 bag, but I can't find the date code on this. Like, I don't know where it would be. So if anybody has an idea of where I might be able to find the date code on this, that'd be great. But anyways, let's continue. So what fits? Sunglasses, little Zumoni organizer full of my random things that I need, mini mom pouch, wallet, and these are just my essentials. I have more than enough space. Phone, planner. You know what, let me grab an iPad and we'll see if that fits as well. iPad, my daughter's iPad. Oh yeah, so it's perfect. It's perfect iPad size. So it doesn't fit a laptop, but it will fit a full-size iPad. So of course it will also fit mini iPads, Kindles, and such. Another pro about this bag is that these handles are super thick. So one of my pet peeves about the Plume bags were that they have rolled handles, but they're super thin. So as soon as I put it on my shoulder, like the pressure on my shoulder is a little too much. I did sell my Plume 32. And I still have my Plume 28 Elan. That's the only one I'm keeping right now. So the nice thing about this is that they made really big, thick, rolled handles, like super sturdy. It's very comfortable on my shoulder, even when it's so heavy and weighed down. Like it's not, the pressure is not as bad, right? So I love that about this bag. I love that it's unusual. I also really like this front pocket. So sometimes I'll just throw my phone actually in here. So like that, and it stays, it's fine. I mean, I also have a silicone grippy iPhone case, so you know that helps. I could fit the phone in the front pocket as well. It does fit, which is nice. So if I wanted to be secure about it, I could put it here, but honestly, you know, I'm always grabbing my phone, so I'll just put it in here, which makes this bag super convenient. And I feel like maybe they made this bag right around the time of like Marc Jacobs, Louis Vuitton, and you know, there was a lot of cargo bags going on. So this is sort of Hermes version of the LV Manhattan bag, which had, you know, cargo pockets in the front. So yeah, but this works out great. I ended up loving this bag more than I thought I would, and I'm really glad that I bought it. At first I was a little iffy because it, you know, was heavy and such. Now some of the cons. One, I wish it had feet. It would just make this bag so much more easy to use if I could just set it down. Like the toolbox have feet. The So Kelly doesn't have feet though. And then second of all, so this is a worn one. I mean, they're all going to be vintage at this point, but the handles, because you know they're Clements and there's no D-rings, they're just folding here. And there's causing a lot of wear and tear on these handles. I mean, it's just creasing to the point where if honestly this was a daily kind of bag, you're looking at maybe needing to repair it or something, but it's just a weak point. And then of course, if you pull on it this way, you know, you could rip some stitches. But overall, I can see a lot of wear and tear right at this weak point on the leather here. It was actually the main reason why, not main reason, it was one of the reasons why I didn't like the pull-in Mochi Mini, because their handles, they didn't use D-rings, they just used folded up leather to make their top handle for that bag. You know, eventually it's going to get floppy like this, and it's just not ideal. Honestly, if they had just used D-rings, it would be just aesthetically, I feel like a little more pleasing. Other than that, I actually, and the weight, I don't really have too much complaints. Speaking of the weight, let's just weigh it real quick. All right, so it's 1 pound, 14 ounces. So this bag is almost 2 pounds, which is a lot. I mean, it's really heavy. In comparison, I think my roll bag's like 1.5 pounds. It's a very heavy bag. I think if this were in my Battle of the Boston bag lineup, it would not do as well as the Row or the Machino bags because the weight, lack of D-rings, lack of feet, lack of a second zipper. But you know, as an Hermes bag, that's hard to get. I feel like I'm giving it allowances. It does have a front pocket. It is unique. I do foresee myself keeping this bag at least for a little while longer because I do like the sort of shoulder bag style. You know, it is a comfortable bag even if it's heavy, and I do find it useful. So yeah, let me know if you have a CARAVAS bag and what you think about it, or if you'd like one, and if you've ever seen one in the wild or even online. It's hard to find information about it in general because every time I put CARAVAS in the search query, it thinks I'm trying to say canvas. No, CARAVAS. Or Caracas. Sometimes it thinks I'm trying to say Caracas. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this interesting, I kindly ask that you hit the thumbs up button down below. And if maybe you've seen some of my other videos in the past, I kindly ask that you consider subscribing since it really helps support this channel. And see you guys in the next one. Bye!